Leon C., Mr. Morpheus of the hour. My best friend just moved into her new apartment. She is 33 years old and she has a teenage daughter. She is struggling to find a man, or in her words, a good companion. And she is very religious to the point where she keeps candles around her place. She constantly explains to me how she is praying to God to deliver her from her situation, to forgive her of her bad ways, and to bring her a good man. But I have recently listened to one of your current audios that you have made, talking about women make it bad for other women, women's hair. And I also heard about your audio called Life Isn't For Everyone, which that one have truly opened up my eyes and have changed my life forever. I will never be the same, and I will be a better woman because of you. Thank you, and I do appreciate your work. But the question I have is, what can I say to her in the conditions that she is in now? I have been listening to some MGTOW content, and I do understand their philosophy, and I do know what the red pill is all about. Although it is hard to take in such truth, and most times, LOL, it is difficult. But I can't dispute the fact that it is true. This is what we are all going through in the silence of our home. But we just don't want to face the facts. And I'm able to see that my best friend is going through exactly those consequences that you red pill men are talking about, where she is alone and she cannot find a good man. I know this way create or make a good topic for you. So therefore, I'm going to throw it at you and see what you will do with this one. Okay. And the signature down here is Lynn. All right, Miss Lynn. Thank you. And I honor the fact that you acknowledge that we are not out here trying to cause a dissension. We are not out here talking bad about women, nor people, nor religion. This isn't hate talk. This is not discrimination. Okay? This is not threatening. This is not war. All this is teaching and redirecting the future in a better direction, because we are putting together our hopes, our faiths, and our ideas with tape. We're not screwing it into the wall as it should be. We're not creating brackets so therefore it can stand strong and be stable. We are placarding our ideas to the wall with tape, and cheap, bad tape at that. All right, so I am glad that you have chimed in, as I like to call it, because that lets every other viewer know that not everyone is the same. Not every person, not every woman think the same. Okay, to a degree. There is a percentage of women who is trying, at least, if not to get the information out there, but your eyes are open and you know what your kind is doing. You know what your species is doing. You have friends that are like that, and you are able to see now the consequences in their later life. And listen, they're only going to get younger and younger. You're seeing a 33-year-old like this. There are going to be 27 and 28-year-old women in the same situation. As a matter of fact, you know, a lot of them are drinking their wine, having their party, and enjoying the benefits of their nature right now. Okay, and waving their wonderful, colorful flags right now. But nature is the one that knocks on the door, and we're not the one to bring it in. It's the acceptance of our lifestyle. Now I'm going to switch the sound in the background just a little bit because it is getting very loud. I know sometimes you all would like to keep your audio at a steady level, but sometimes my outside studio can get quite loud in the background. So you will hear various levels of volume, so deal with it, or maybe it may be good for some of you because that'll make you listen when the background changes a little bit. It may get a little louder, and it may get your attention if you're not listening to me, or if you are drowned out, or if you are distracted by whatever that you're doing. So for me, it could be bad, but it could also be good if I look at it that way. Maybe one day I'll even it out for you. All right. However, there's one thing I must bring into the forefront, and I need to talk about this as much as possible because you need to know how things are bridged in together. And the very reason that you said she is a religious woman, and she put candles around the house and she prays all the time for God to deliver her a simp. That's what I'm gonna call him, a blue pill, for God to deliver her a man who is low in confidence. I don't know what some of you are thinking. Say, Morpheus, how could you say that? Because he's going to get in a relationship with someone because he's interested in her? No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is there's lots of men who don't know about the wall. There's men who don't understand that they age like fine wine and some women age like cheese. Okay, or they're not equipped to understand that women have higher experiences than men on a usual basis. If we were running a race, men would lose and women would end up at the finish line, but because they're there early, they deteriorate early while men are still running the race and becoming more of a important energy, becoming more valuable, becoming greater in himself, and he reaches his prime, and his prime remains there for a long time. As they say, what is it that they say? The nail that sticks out the furthest get hammered first. Or when you are in a drag race and you have to use the NOS early on in the race and you are burning your rubber, you are at full throttle. Okay, and because of the pressure, oil pressure, because of the stress you have to put in the engine, because of all the fuel, okay, and the full throttle that you are positioning your intake to be in to get to that finish line before the other person, usually you damage your engine. Usually there's going to be some destruction. You're gonna bust the rod. You're gonna seize up the engine. You're gonna blow a head, all right, or an exhaust pipe, or you're gonna blow a cylinder. The list goes on. You can blow anything. All the entire engine just explode right in front of you, which happens every now and then, often than you like. But you'll make it to the finish line. You will win. You will succeed. You will get down there, maybe, if it blows by the if you make it like a quarter to the finish line, yeah, it's like 3/4 of the way. Fine, okay. But however, when you make it there, you are successful, but you got a price to pay. You have to repair that expensive car. You got a new engine to put in there with the money that you may be victorious with. However, the person who's not interested in just running down there, because we know that that's not what life is. It's not a race as you may think it is, a drag race, or a race to the finish line. I need to learn first. I want to be the first. I want to achieve and all that. Okay. It comes in its various forms, but in this measure, I'm talking about youth. I'm talking about taking your time. I'm talking about letting the flower grow naturally. Okay. When you burn your wheels up and you donkey dunking, you're having fun, you're getting all the prizes and gifts as a young girl. Okay, you are growing up too fast. You are being promoted to be something that you really don't want to be, but you won't find that out later, young women, ladies. Okay, and oftentimes you don't know because you end up in a broken home or you misled. And my condolences. Okay, I'm very sincere when I say that. because I do a lot of speaking to a lot of people and I hear the stories. I'm not pointing my finger at any one of you because I know it's your environment. I know it's the girls that you're around. I know oftentimes it's your moms who's living that lifestyle and she don't put you on the right track, or your father's not there. You're looking for a father figure. The list goes on. The list just goes on. So you are forced to grow too fast. Oftentimes when girls are in a vicious, terrible, ghetto-ish environment, she grows up to the point where she has already full-grown lady parts and she's just 14, 15 years old. So her body is going through a fight or flight situation. Her body feels like it needs to produce a child before she ends up hurt. You know, it's survival of her genetics being a natural lady. Okay, so you couldn't tell the difference between a 15-year-old versus a 21-year-old. All right, it's just nature. But however, the problem is you burn out fast because you got all these guys around who are saying, oh, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you. Ooh, look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Nice, cute, sexy, whatever. Right? Then, of course, when you get of legal age, then you start doing the donkey dunking, having children, so forth and so on. Okay. And you got the best of the best suitors who are coming at you trying to bid in. Oftentimes, women who do find themselves in a content situation before the age 23, okay, it's a luck of the draw during that time because you have to make sure you find the proper suitor who you're going to saddle up with. Okay, but because on the other end of the bridge, there are men who aren't prepared to be the proper suitor because they are raised up in a broken home as well. They are taught by R&B music. You know, they are raised up in rap music. They're raised up in a rough side of town, just as yourself, ladies. Okay, so you'll think this guy is suitable because he is aggressive or because he seems to be masculine, when he's only aggressive because of his upbringing, not because of his wisdom and knowledge. You don't have to be aggressive and hard to be masculine. You can be calm and serene. You can be full of wisdom and peaceful as a lion and still be masculine and alpha. Okay, so a lot of you women don't understand the difference between the two. So you get yourself in a tough situation where you are attracted to this aggressive male, to this guy who's walking around with his pants below his waist, whatever else the list goes on. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just telling you what happens. Okay, that's up to you how you choose to dress. Y'all figure it out whenever you mature or you grow or you go through your experiences through life. Morpheus doesn't judge how you dress. I just say with attention or what kind of vision that you are giving others that are around you. That's all I'm going to say. But to make this long explanation short, all right, let's keep it very simple. What ends up happening, you get boosted to get down there to the finish line too soon. You grow up too fast. You're an 18-year-old who's already have 2-3 kids, or a child, or getting ready to get married, or you're a fiance to somebody and you halfway know yourself, or he halfway knows himself, and there goes the destruction and there goes your distorted future. All right. So what happens is you end up growing with those particular failing measures on a constant basis, flipping back and forth. Then you have mommy and daddy, who is so gracious enough to introduce you to church and drag you to church to get you programmed and to thinking in La La Land, you know, thinking about the white picket fence and the perfect family of people made of God's grace and salvation, which all these sins are forgiven. And you don't have to think about the logical avenue of existence. All you need to do is pray your troubles away. So you would never think or never give yourself the opportunity to think conscious enough to understand that that is a delusional mindset. So you end up conflicting with what you are praying for versus what you are actually going through. So then you begin to think that it's a God thing. You begin to think that God is preventing you from having a good man. You end up praying on your knees thinking that God is going to give you a man when you don't understand that it is your lifestyle. It's where you have been, and it's because of knowledge. Because whether you want to, here's your word, your favorite word, believe it or not, there is thousands upon thousands of men okay, who is more conscious than you think. They are wise about women than you think. They know about what's going on in the westernized civilization, where they are, when you say marriage to a man nowadays, you would have swore that you just slapped him in the face, no matter where you standing at, whether on the phone, several miles away from him, or in his face. If you ever tell him something like that, he'll look at you like you're crazy, and you'll be like, why? The moment you say, oh, can I be your girlfriend? Or are we going to go steady? Or what do you think about me? Or how do you feel about me? He will never call you back. He won't come back. And if he does, it's going to be like a month later. And it's just going to, spend a couple of hours with you, and he's leaving again. You're going to be like, what's going on? What's up? You'll be like, what's going on? And what you're taught to believe, ladies, and some of you men, if you're listening, what you're taught to believe is that men are dogs. All men want to do is donkey dunk and get rid of you. All they want to do is have fun. Men are they're never manning up. They never want to be serious. All they want to do, make a date. Why don't you just go ahead and take me out? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But you're not overstanding something. You're not thinking with your wise mind. You're thinking with your emotions. You're not thinking with the calculation, with reasoning, that they have a reason behind what they are doing. Because they understand. Remember what the emailer just said. What did she tell you about the audio I just created? There are women that make it bad for other women. There are women who pride themselves on that. Okay. And therefore it becomes, how do you put it? It's like like a rippling effect, like the wave in the water, where you have a full group of people who make a wave in the water, and you're on the far end of the water and you suffer the wave. That wave reaches you even though you're not a part of it. So therefore, you're looking for companionship. You're looking for that one in a million men or man, that alpha, the king in the jungle. But he understands that he's the prize now. He knows he's the prize because men are starting to love themselves a little more nowadays. Men are starting to wake up. Men are starting to see the westernized civilization for what it really was all this time. So the cloak is coming off, and men are not silly anymore. The majority of them are. The ones who are not are the blue pill betas. The one who are not are men who are unaware, who is not caught up on the information. Okay, they're still in the church holding out for hope and faith. They're still the ones blindfolded, which want to jump right into the swimming pool and hope that there's water down there. And most of them don't come back. They don't survive. Okay? Because they're taught to believe. They're taught to believe that it's a God and a devil thing. Men and women, it's not a God and devil thing. It's the lack of information. Let me tell you something about church, and the reason why I discuss it with almost every conversation is because it's a mind and a spirit thing. Whatever you put your soul on or your core vision, because it's serious to a lot of people, and I respect that. I respect that because it's what you think life and death is based on, because you're taught to believe that it's a programming, and it's a major programming that becomes a huge glitch in your life because you never question it. Okay, what happens is you are programmed to be in a low valley of thinking. A low valley. There was a story, and I don't know how true it is, but it could be. It sounds like it is. And it was about Egypt. And in the story, it was based on Egypt being raided. Okay, so Egypt was raided several times by several cultures, several generations, so forth, so on. Okay, we know that. But one of the stories was people who ran away from the enslavement in Egypt. When they escaped Egypt, instead of them continuing on the journey, what they did was they decided to lay low in a very low valley, not too far away from Egypt, but it was at a distance enough. They got tired. They're like, you know what? We're just going to make our home over here. We're going to settle over here in this low valley. We're not going to continue to stretch around the world and find another fresh spot, miles and miles away from Egypt, which is still a part of Africa. Some say, Middle East, the whole continent over there is still, Africa, the Middle East. Egypt was a part of Africa. Okay. They were all attached. It's still on the same soil. You can't separate it. I don't know where we get those kind of thoughts from. Who's doing this? And we believe it. Amazing. Anyhow, so what ended up happening is instead of them continue to scale up and advance in their life, they stayed in that low valley and started to build their village there. And therefore, the contamination of Egypt spread so vast with the hunters and those who wanted to expand their power or whatnot, end up finding those same people living in a low valley. Okay, and only very few survived from the second wave, from getting what you can call slaughtered once again, because they decided to stay in a low valley instead of continuously moving, instead of building a further place, instead of going to a high place, instead of building a life better. So what happens is with a lot of our systems that are around us, it's for a limited time. It's temporary. It's a tape measure. What that means is not a tape measure that you link a thing with. Tape. Where you tape the placard on the wall, like I was telling you about, instead of screwing it together. So what happens is you don't question your religion. You don't question God at a higher level. You don't take God for what God is. You say God is superior. God is above man. God can do whatever God wants to do. God is, can make something happen in a second or not. Okay, that's your teaching. That's what they tell you. So therefore, you should take it to that specific measure. If somebody tell you, hey, I can lift 1,000 pounds, you expect for them to lift 1,000 pounds. If I tell you, oh, I'm Jester the Crest and I can help you see again, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go get a scalpel. That doesn't mean I'm gonna put you underneath the microphone or a microscope and give you some contact lenses. That doesn't mean I'm going to inspire the doctor to make some chiseled glass or plastic to put on your eyes to make a magnifying, microscope, lens, and call it glasses, in metal or aluminum frame, to make you see again. That's not what it means. If I say I can help you see again, that means I can help you see again, period. I can put my hands on your face and you can immediately see. Okay, now if you want to be about symbology, you can. If you want to be about making this a metaphysical thing where it is contributed to other things, you can. But that is not what the biblical text was talking about. Because if it was about your gesture or your so-called interpretation of religion helping you to see, we've been blinded for years now and we haven't been seeing anything. Okay, only knowledge is able to open up your eyes, and thus reality as well, which comes through hard times and tribulations. All right. But however, we don't question it at that measure where this is this and that's that. You say you want to walk on water, go ahead and walk on water. You can walk through fire, walk through fire. But we always want to use symbology. We love to say, well, the scripture means this, but it actually means spiritually that. So we allow our consciousness to be at a very low valley where we don't question it. So therefore we will, and here we go. We will apply it to our personal life. We will apply it to our marriages. We will apply it to our getting a boyfriend and girlfriend. We will apply it to our finances. We will say the same thing. Well, God's not doing it. It may mean something. Everything happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. And don't research it. Don't figure out what the reason is. Never do. Always not holding your religion accountable. Hold your God accountable. If you have a manager of an apartment complex and they tell you that when you are a resident here, they are going to maintenance your house. Okay. When they don't maintenance your house, you can hold them accountable because they said, and especially if it's on paper, they promised you that they could do that and they would do it. That's the same as your religion. So what happens is when we find out that measure is not being met, when we are not being fulfilled, when she's sitting there blowing candles all over her house, making her child choke off of it, and wasting wax and heat, just to give herself a delusional feeling, not action. What happens is all you're doing is hoping and expecting for something that will usually never happen because that dude isn't going to knock on the door. If anything, you'll get second rate. You'll get second rate because you don't have the knowledge to get first rate. That means to understand why that alpha's not there, but the blue pill is. The blue pill is there because he don't know about what's going on today. And he's just going on with the program. All he want to do is donkey dunk and be done with it. And she's still going to be single with her child there. No father figure, no man figure in her life. Romance, be damned. It's over. Not going to be there. Okay. But red pill is always at a distance. He's not going to be acquirable. He's not going to be an asset in her world because he has knowledge. Okay, so therefore, it's not her prayers that's the problem. It's her expectation that's the problem. It's her lack of not understanding what's going on in the real world. Whereas you, Lynn, you got the information. She doesn't have it. She knows you have the red pill. You are understanding a lot more about why a thing is happening. You're not sitting down on your knees and say, well, everything happened for a reason. No, you understand why it's happening for a reason. So that will make you even more successful should you come across a man like that. Should you come across a relationship desiring, or you get to a certain point in your life where you're tired of, where some of you women say, tired of playing games. When you get to that point, you will overstand. You wouldn't have a question mark. Some people love having a question mark. We just love being in a low valley, hoping that that the spirits don't come flying at us. We love being at a low valley, hoping and twirling our thumbs that that an army don't come rush us over. We love that. And then all we'll do is just have a campfire and pray to invincible gods that it will protect us with smokes, you know, with fake dolls lined up everywhere, you know, with deceptive type of wood and chopped up fear dynamic and psychology and whatever else that you may do to try to protect yourself, which ain't going to help you because you very few in between and you in a low valley. All it takes is one big boulder and it's over. You know, it's all pancakes for everybody in the tribe. Okay, that's the mindset that's the mindset of being clustered together in a denomination or in a cluster of people thinking that y'all DNA is all the same, that your soul is all the same, that God is going to acknowledge all of you as one person when realistically y'all all go on an individual spaceship out and off of Earth. Okay, which is not the way you think it is. It's underneath the ground. So therefore, that reality doesn't reach home because we're not, because we're programmed to go against that. We're programmed not to question that. We're programmed not to hold our religion accountable for our failures when it is not, in fact, the religion itself. Religion itself is the retardant. It's the restrictor and the blinder itself that fogs up your instincts. Where you don't pick up a magazine or a newspaper, you don't put two and two together with social media and what's going on TV or YouTube. You'll sit there in front of TV all day long, or CBS, you know, or sit there with Netflix with your feet up all day long. Never listen to a realistic person who's not programmed, who isn't paid to talk to you, and definitely isn't going by a script to tell you what the facts are. Because it becomes too real. And then what your church will say, no, don't listen to them. They are the devil. People are out of their mind because they're telling you lies. There's going to be false prophets in the day. And the only prophet you ever see is that pulpit guy standing there on a podium talking to you from a book. Morpheus and every other person isn't talking to you from a book. They're talking to you from their heart, from experience, from actual physical evidence. Now, I don't have a lot of time, okay, because some of you have gotten the message, and I just really wanted to share that chime in with you to let you know that there are some people who are listening and they are learning one day at a time. But it's also to tell you that when you allow your mind to be in a low valley, when you allow yourself to be deceived for so long, it will catch up to you. And when you are praying for it, you're asking for relief. You're asking for a change of pace. That change of pace is only going to come through knowledge. That change of pace is only going to come through taking the blinders off and disconnecting yourself from the matrix. Now in this generation, in the 2020s, now is the time to drop everything and focus on your instincts and your awareness of your environment. Now is the time to destroy indoctrination and the programming and accept real existence. No, I didn't say life, because Morpheus has a different definition of life. So I won't tell you that. That's your definition. That's what you decide for it to be. I'm saying your existence, because just because you exist don't mean you are alive. Always remember that. So therefore, the lowest hanging fruit or a low valley lifestyle is what too many people are in, and they get caught up They get caught up thinking that it's a God thing, or they need to pray harder. They need to pay more money. Maybe they're not cute enough. Maybe their dress isn't tight enough. Maybe she's not wearing tight enough yoga pants. Maybe her makeup is too thin. Maybe she didn't get her hair done this week. Maybe her breath stink. Maybe she's looking ratchet. She have all these questions. Maybe men just don't like her. Maybe all men are just about donkey dunking. That's it. She would never know the facts. Okay, when you need to understand, it's not even about that anymore. It's because men are protecting themselves. Okay, it's because men are aware that they want a virtuous woman. They don't mind being committed to someone who is worthy enough to be committed to. That's not slander. It's not a distortion, nor is it talking down or bad about anybody. It's just that you don't understand the team has a different game plan now. The game plan is different. The strategy is different, and you don't even know what it is. If you pay attention, you can see how they forming up against you. If you understand what's going on in your country or the Western civilization, you'll realize that you got to do something differently. You can't be in a low valley of thinking. This ain't about hope and belief anymore. This isn't about letting somebody stand in a podium telling you about who you are and what God is. You need to figure out what it is for yourself and know what it is by your physicality. If you can't do it, stop believing in it. If you can't walk through walls, don't run through the wall and think that you're going to walk through it. You'll smash white, flat face right into the wall and everybody's going to laugh at you. Try it. Oh, I got the Holy Ghost. Watch me run into this wall 100 miles per hour. Go ahead. Go ahead. And it will be shameful on your obituary. Shameful. Because most things is based on common sense that we don't have anymore. You got to understand, if you hold God at your candlestick, since she's like burning candles around the house, if you hold God to the candlestick, okay, that means you are able to do the impossible. That means you don't have to worry about not being able to go through the wall. That means you can go through it, right? Try it. But if you can't do it with your physical body, with your spiritual body, with your evolution, with your own sense of miracles, then whatever you believe in, you need to drop it right there at the door because it's not true. All right. You try to get out there and walk on water and you drown. OK, you're going to be a laughing stock. The only thing that's going to help you with some buoyancy if you get in the boat. And some of you say, well, God inspired people to get in the boat and make a jet ski and all that. Yeah. For you. Yeah, my goodness. I'm not even going to go there. I can't even find the words to say, just wow. I'm flabbergasted. I'm going to be nice. I ain't going to say nothing about it. I'm going to be quiet about that. OK, you need help. If you can't go out there and walk, because there wasn't skis during that time, nor a boat. Or a raft, whatever you think it was. They said walk on water, not skiing or boating through water. Walking. You know what walking is? Putting one foot in front of the other. Walking. That's what they was talking about. If you can't do it, okay, then what you think you believe in, you need to drop it right there at the door and keep walking. You're listening to mythical thinking and delusional ideology. Simple as that. But when you begin to face reality, you're going to be stronger for it. And therefore, when you come across real life and physical issues, you will decipher it for what it is and you will be better for it. You will be the best that you could ever be. You can't be lied to and you won't allow yourself to be lied to. You won't find yourself finding success when you're 50, 60 something years old. You won't find yourself being a limited species. You will be unlimited because you can see things for what it is. Remember that scene when Neo finally realized that he was the one? You remember that when he was in the hallway? Do you remember when the Agent Smith came at them and they picked up their pistol and shot at him? Remember in the movie? And he began to see things for what it was. It was breathtaking. He said, this is what Morpheus was talking about. This is what he meant. Because I said he never needed to dodge a bullet. He never needed to. Because he can see it coming. So therefore, what did he do? He's seen it coming. And he stopped it in midair. He was able to see exactly what I was telling him to see. That's the same thing that you can do. So therefore, when you are empowered that way and reality strikes at you and gives you the wings that you need, then you will have, listen, you will have your prayers answered. You don't have to light a candle. Get up off your knees and you will see it for what it is and success will come to you. No longer is the time to be waiting tomorrow. Now is your success. Now is your empowerment. Now is your freedom. Now is when you get what you want or you desire. With knowledge and true power, not indoctrination and programming. Put Agent Smith to sleep. And thank you, Miss Lynn. I do appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure this have touched someone out here. That is my task. This is Morpheus. More to come.